Good evening, everyone. Happy end of day 2. For most of you, at least in Central Time Zone, you're probably down to 1 fueling left for the day. You've had your lean and green. So I just want to congratulate you for making it through day 2. Like I told you guys this morning, I don't feel great today because it's day 2, but you know what? We're gonna power through, and now you're like this close to fat burn, guys. You got 24 more hours to go, and on Thursday morning you should wake up in fat burn, because that will be 72 to 96 hours into our journey, which is what we normally find. I wanted to hop on here tonight and talk a little bit about our element for the week, which is element 4. Okay, so element 4. Now, if you do not have this life book and this Habits of Health book, you should definitely invest in them. Your coach can get them for you, $49.99. Some of you have like digital resources, but I just think like this, there's nothing like having this book in your hands. And it has all these different elements, and element 4 is building a healthy mindset. Now, how many of you, when you started this, thought it was a diet? The dreaded D word, right? I did. I was like, I'm fat, I need to lose weight, I'm gonna do Optavia. And what I found when I got into it was that Optavia is a self-development program with a side of weight loss, okay? And it really digs deep into the heart and the mind. And when you do it right? Because that's what's gonna create lasting transformation for your entire life. And so one of the ways that we work on our mindset and our heart is by getting into this life book. Now, this is an interactive workbook, which is why I said it's super important that you guys get it, because you can go through and fill in questions. And by the way, if you do it more than once, your answers are probably going to change. But that's my plug for the life book. So let's get into it. We're just going to spend about 5 minutes tonight talking about element 4, building a healthy mindset. Okay, so Dr. Anderson, Wayne Scott Anderson, the founder of Optavia, amazing doctor, and used to be completely involved in reactive medicine, created this whole Optavia program because he was sick of helping people when he couldn't help them anymore when they were, on his OR table. So his goal is to create the healthy mindset in every area of your life. And he says in here, my goal is for you to become the dominant force in your life. Okay, well, what does that mean? When you have internal stability and internal equilibrium, your health and well-being have the ability to flourish. When you don't have internal stability and internal equilibrium, you flounder. How many of you feel survival mode? I felt a little survival mode today, okay? When I'm in fat burn, I don't feel as survival mode, but today I felt a little bit survival mode. And when he talks about internal stability and external equilibrium, he's talking about the ability to respond at whatever life throws at you. I don't know about y'all, but for me, for the majority of the first 8 to 10 years of my motherhood journey, I'd be like, oh, it was such a hard day with the kids today. I deserve that chocolate, or I deserve that glass of wine, whatever the thing was. It's like I rewarded myself at the end of the day with food when life got hard. I was sad, I ate. I was tired, I ate. I was happy and celebrated, I ate. Okay, that was just like how I was. I was a definite emotional eater, but I was not internally stable or had external equilibrium, and I was just sort of like sleepwalking through life, okay? And I wasn't taking responsibility. I said, oh, I had a daughter with medical needs, poor me, or oh, my husband's a football coach, I'm home with the kids all the time. And I would blame all these external factors for the choices that I was making in my life. So Dr. Anderson asks us this question: who is responsible for your current health and well-being? Is it your kids, your spouse, your friends, your environment, your genetics? Who said that before? Oh, I just have bad genes, right? Guys, none of those things are responsible for your well-being and your health. It's you, okay? And if you disagree with that, it's important that we understand and look and unpack why, okay? Because at the end of the day, you're in charge. And a lot of us just kind of get in this mode of feeling like life is happening to us, and we're kind of sleepwalking through our days, and we're kind of unaware and unconscious of what's happening around us. And we're not in this state of being able to respond because we just kind of go through it very mundanely. And I'm guilty as charged for sure. So do you feel like you've let life happen to you in some ways? Here's some questions. When you're presented with a challenge, how do you respond? Do you find yourself getting upset most of the time, shying away and hoping someone else will take care of it, making excuses, or looking to see what you can learn? When you're in an argument, do you find it important to be right about everything? Are you quick to point blame? Do you feel sorry for yourself? Or are you seeking to understand what the other person is saying? When something bad in the world, this one's been a big one lately, when something bad in the world happens, do you find yourself focusing on whose fault it is, or wondering why the world isn't different, or finding blame for people who hold different beliefs? Or do you seek to understand what can be learned from it? And when you find yourself overeating, do you blame it on someone else, something else, yourself, or do you look to understand why? Okay, so these are all some questions that your life book is going to lead you through, and these are meant to be answered, okay? Because then it's gonna put us into this chart of, are we open to this growth mindset, or are we closed and defensive and want to be right? Like, where are we at in that? And we always say in Optavia, we want to be above the line. Okay, so how often are we living above the line? How often can we say that we don't close ourselves off and get defensive? Notice here, this is so much more than a diet, right? It's all up here, but this mental plays a role, I would be willing to say, in over 90% of what goes in our mouth, right? For whatever our concept is about it. So are we finding ourselves below the line a lot? I was. It's a work in progress, right? Progress over perfection. But we get consumed with just being right and being victimized, or saying this is why things happen. So how do we change it? Okay, one tiny micro habit at a time, but it starts with self-awareness. And guys, this is coming right out of this book. This is not Abby talking. This is Dr. Anderson. I'm just summarizing it for you. It is really important to understand that if we're working at a subconscious level and we're making choices that aren't in our own best interest, we can't improve until we recognize that. So until we say, okay, I made the choice to do X, Y, Z, okay? If we're just subconsciously eating those donuts on the way to work, or subconsciously having that chocolate after the kid goes to bed because we deserve it, we're not aware of that, we can't change it. So the first step is awareness, okay? A lot of times we play victim and wonder why life is happening to us, and we get stuck in this drama triangle. And by the way, I should have said this, but this is on page 109. So element 4, which we're going to talk about your homework assignment this week, but element 4 is page 100, and I'm on page 109, and it talks about this drama triangle, where we go in this rotation of, it's not fair, okay? I'm blaming myself. Whose fault is it? It's being done to me. And we just get kind of stuck in this. And this leads to a state of unrest, anxiety, highly stressed, right? And all of those things are unhealthy for your body, your mind, and your overall well-being, right? Because if we're experiencing all the stress and hormones and anxiety and everything that comes with that, we're not going to reach our optimal weight or our optimal health. Okay, so what we need to start to do is be aware of the stimulus and how we're responding, okay? Dr. A likes to call it lizard brain or human brain, right? Lizards, it's an automatic response. They're stimulated by something and then they have another result, okay? You start to get to a dog, a Labrador, where there's this emotional piece involved, and then humans are at the very top of the tier where we think, okay? So we have the power within our brains to stop, challenge, and choose, and that's the micro habit that we're going to talk about today, okay? This can be good in every part of your life, but as we're talking about this healthy well-being transformation, let's run through that. So what's the stop, challenge, choose response? Okay, so physical sensations. Let's just start with the obvious one. I'm hungry. Okay, the physical sensation that I'm hungry is a cue for me to immediately take control of my current situation. Okay, so if I was a lizard and I felt hunger, I would go eat whatever I could get my hands on, right? That's not how we're going to be. We're going to stop. We're going to recognize that we're feeling hunger, what we think perceived to be hunger, and we're going to challenge, okay? By putting ourselves really good at stopping and recognizing sensations that we feel, we're able to put ourselves in a position to challenge, okay? So we're going to challenge how we respond. We're going to then choose. Okay, so everything this book talks about is making us aware and teaching us the principles of the habits of health so that we are empowered to make the choice in our best interest. I am hungry, okay? Am I really just thirsty? Let's think about it. I have a choice. Can I drink a bottle of water, wait 20 minutes and see if I'm still hungry, or I'm gonna shove the chips in my mouth, okay? And then we're gonna make a choice that as we become more aware of ourselves, we can choose to make a choice that's going to further project us down our goal path, right? That was not very eloquently said, but right, we live in that structural tension. I weigh, I don't know, Bobby weighs 250 pounds and Bobby wants to weigh 200 pounds. So Bobby wants a donut. He's going to say, okay, is the donut going to help me on my path to get to 200 pounds? It's not. So we're going to be aware of that consciously and move forward on some of the other habits, healthy habits that we could do instead, like trying a bottle of water or having a fueling or going for a walk or going for bed, something that we can replace with that action. And I already talked way longer than I meant to. So here's my homework assignment. There are a ton of questions for you guys in the element 4 of the Habits of Health book. And it kind of walks you through your own awareness of what's happening. And it wants you to start practicing the stop, challenge, and choose by different things that you know are triggers in your life. So I would love for you guys to read element 4 and to fill it out. And I think it's super fun to date the corner for when you fill that out, because the next time you go back through, your answers have probably changed for the better. So thank you for taking the time to watch this tonight. I hope it was helpful. We'll try to spend a few minutes each week on elements that we feel are like super essential. Like they're all essential, but we're going to choose the best 8 that we feel like most people struggle with. And element 4 definitely tops that list. Good night, guys.